very good evening and welcome to the news live on Channel Live.
A very good evening indeed. I'm Nitya Chandra.
I'm Javed Bongzo. We begin with the headlines.
8 MOUs covering several sectors have been signed between Kenya and Sri Lanka. The Kenyan president has said that under the guidance of President Mahinda Rajapaksa, Sri Lanka has achieved many Millennium Development Goals. A consignment of heroin worth 65 million rupees has been seized from Karua. The South African leader Nelson Mandela, who awakened the world against apartheid, leaves the world tomorrow.
Well, for those and other stories in detail, 8 agreements and MOUs have been signed between Sri Lanka and Kenya. The signing of these agreements took place at the State Palace in Nairobi at the presence of the presidents of both countries. The agreements cover cooperation in tourism, cultural and sports sectors. The agreements have given prominence for relaxation of visas for official passport holders, for commerce and technological cooperation and bilateral advisory and mutual cooperation commissions. Ministers G.L. Piris and Geethanjana Gunawardene, Chief Minister of Rural Province, Shashindra Rajapaksa, the monitoring MP of the Ministry of External Affairs, Sajan Divas Gunawardene, and Secretary to the President Lalit Veeratunga participated at this function.
ද්විපාර්ශ්වික ආර්ථික හා වෙළඳ සහයෝගිතා වර්ධනය උදෙසා සම්මුති සහ ගිවිසුම් සැලසුම් කෙරින සංචාරක ව්‍යාපාරය සංස්කෘතික හා ක්‍රීඩා ශ්‍රේෂ්ඨ සහයෝගිතාව නිල විදේශ බලපත් හිමිකරුවනට නිදහස් වීසා වාණිජ්‍ය සහ තාක්ෂණික සහයෝගිතාව ද්විපාර්ශ්වික උපදේශන හා ඒකාබද්ධ කුසමක් යන ශ්‍රේෂ්ඨවලට ප්‍රමුඛතාව දී තිබේ. මහාචාර්ය ජී.එල්. පීරිස්, ගීතාංජන ගුණවර්ධන යන අමාත්‍යවරුද ඌව පළාත් ප්‍රධාන අමාත්‍ය ශෂීන්ද්‍ර රාජපක්ෂ, විදේශ අමාත්‍යාංශයේ අධීක්ෂණ මන්ත්‍රී සජින්ද වාස් ගුණවර්ධන, ජනාධිපති ලේකම් ලලිත් විරතුංග යන මහත්වරුද මේ අවස්ථාවේ.
The Kenyan President Uhuru Kenyatta has said that under the guidance of President Mahinda Rajapaksa, Sri Lanka has achieved almost all Millennium Development Goals. He has pointed out that the progress achieved by Sri Lanka can be seen by anyone who visits the country. President Mahinda Rajapaksa, who is on an official visit to Kenya, attended the banquet given on his honor by the Kenyan President Uhuru Kenyatta in the Kenyan State Palace in Nairobi last night. On arrival at the State Palace, the President was warmly welcomed by President Uhuru. President Kenyatta, in his speech before the banquet, has said that in the recent era, the relationship between Sri Lanka and Kenya has been strengthened. The Kenyan President commended the services being done by President Mahinda Rajapaksa for the development of Sri Lanka.
In particular, I'm pleased to pay special tribute to Your Excellency for your transformational leadership. Throughout your long career, beginning at a young age of 24, you have served your country with great distinction. Despite the phenomenal challenges you've had to endure over the last 3 decades, say about the developments you saw in Colombo and other parts of your country where they managed to visit. Sri Lanka has achieved almost all Millennium Development Goals well before the target year of 2015.
President Mahinda Rajapaksa in his address pointed out that Kenya and Sri Lanka share ancient civilizations and many equal aspects. The President also explained about the current situation in Sri Lanka in his speech.
Home to great ancient civilizations dating back many millennia. We in Asia, like the people of your country, are heirs to the legacy of great civilization, and we identify its weight and aspiration with your noble vision of your country, convincingly endorsed by the presence of so many leaders of Africa who gathered in Nairobi on this historical occasion to demonstrate their solidarity with you.
First Lady Madam Shiranti Rajapaksa and the Sri Lankan delegation also participated in the banquet.
Well, a consignment of more than 10 kilograms of heroin has been taken into custody from the Hikkaduwa area. The police media spokesman, SSP Ajit Rohana, said that this is the largest consignment of drugs taken into custody from the southern province. The Police Narcotic Bureau has taken this consignment into custody from a house in Tiranagama of Hikkaduwa. This raid has been carried out on information received from a Liberian drug trafficker taken into custody by the customs recently. The value of the consignment is estimated to be more than 65 million rupees. In addition to this, the police team has also taken into custody 2 weapons, 5 mobile phones and currency notes worth more than 1.1 million rupees. The SSP said that investigations are being carried out as to whether the drug traffickers use this place as a heroin trafficking center. The police media spokesman SSP Ajit Rohana said that one example was that attempts were made to smuggle the heroin to Liberia. This was that the heroin was brought into Sri Lanka and then attempts were made to smuggle it to Liberia. However, he said that Sri Lankan police have curtailed this operation. He said that by this confiscation, the police have discovered a main link in the smuggling chain. The police request the people to consider it as national importance and communicate any information about drugs to the telephone numbers 0112343333 or 0112343334 of the Police Narcotic Bureau.
Minister Dallas Alhapperum pointed out that the reason for the defeat of the budget of several local government institutions was the democratic right that has been bestowed on those institutions. He said that the defeat of a budget in a local government institution cannot be considered as a defeat of the government. The minister made these remarks when the votes of the Ministry of Provincial Councils and local government institutions were taken up for discussion in the Parliament today. Minister Dallas Alhapperum said that only in 12 local government institutions out of the 335 institutions the budget has been defeated. He said that the Local Government Act was introduced in the year 1987 and the Pradeshiya Sabha regulations were introduced in the year 1988. If the budget was defeated, the chairman of the council can present it again after 14 days. Even if it was defeated, he is empowered to consider it and pass it and act accordingly. He asked whether this is democracy. The minister said that the Local Government Act is now being revised after 25 years. Democracy has been introduced to local government institutions after 25 years. Despite allegations being made that the government is moving towards autocracy, democracy has been introduced to local government institutions after 25 years. When it was done and the budget in certain institutions were defeated, it is being pointed out as well for the fall of the government. The minister pointed out that 171 members of the 1,160 members of the UMP have voted in support of the budget at various local government institutions. The UMP leader also has attempted to show this compared to the democracy. In certain institutions, the chairman has acted inappropriately, and at some other places, certain other members have taken the opportunity to occupy the chairman's seat. The minister said that these incidents should not be considered to measure the political situation in the country.
Well, in the meantime, the Chief Minister of the Northern Province, C.V. Vigneshwaran, has said that there is complete confidence in President Mahinda Rajapaksa and the government on their stance about the Northern Province. He has said that although some politicians make false propaganda with the objective of gaining petty political advantages, the people of the North have no intention of segregating this country. The Chief Minister of the Northern Province, C.V. Vigneshwaran, said that a solution can be provided for this problem. Some politicians say that there are plans to segregate the country which are denied. He said that if it can be arranged for the central government to look into all matters, it would be better.
Still on local news, Minister of Economic Development said that during the last 4 years, the government has spent more than 66,500 million rupees for implementing development projects in the north. The minister said that development projects in the north will continuously be implemented for normalizing the life activities of the people in the north. At present, majority of people in the north are involved in their daily production activities. More than 300,000 people displaced due to tiger terrorism have now been resettled. Many of the areas have now been demined. The agricultural revival which started after that can be seen by anyone. More funds were allocated from 2009 to 2013 for the development of educational, health, self-employment, irrigation, milk production and enterprises development activities in the north. More than 20,000 million rupees have been spent for electricity generation. The amount spent for drinking water supply projects was more than 24,700 million rupees. Several local government and rural road development projects have also been completed. The fisheries production in the north has increased from 21,900 metric tons to 48,500 metric tons. The cultivated land area, which was 5% in the year 2009, has now been increased to 80%. The government has focused attention on development of the northern province than any other province. The governor of the northern province, G.H. Chandrasiri, said that despite this, the propaganda being carried out by the pro-tiger terrorists saying that human rights of the people of the north are insecure is totally false and malicious. He said that President Mahinda Rajapaksa has made an open invitation to any of the world leaders to visit the north and see for themselves the factual situation in the north.
Well, the government has decided to provide interest-free loans up to 250,000 rupees without an insurance guarantee to all women entrepreneurs in the country. The Secretary to the Ministry of Finance, Dr. P.B. Jayasundara, has given the necessary instructions to the Regional Development Bank and the Lanka Putri Development Bank in this connection. The loan program is being implemented under a proposal made by President Mahinda Rajapaksa in the 2014 budget submitted to the Parliament. This step has been taken to enhance the life standards of women entrepreneurs. The age limit for the loan entitlement has been extended up to 68 years. The entrepreneurs will be identified by a district and a regional level study. Assistance of the government officials will be obtained in this connection. At a meeting held with the officials of the Regional Development Bank and the Lanka Putri Development Bank, Dr. P.B. Jayasundara instructed to provide these loans expeditiously.
The coffin of the former South African President Nelson Mandela has been brought to his ancestral home Kunu for the final rites to be held tomorrow. Large crowds gathered in Kunu to pay their last respects as the cortege passed by. A state funeral will be held in Kunu tomorrow. In Pretoria, more than 100,000 people paid their last respects to this great statesman. In line with the tribal custom, Nelson Mandela's grandson, Mandela, accompanied the coffin when it was brought to Kunu. On arrival, the coffin draped in the South African flag was moved by a military guard of honor and placed in a hearse to begin the road journey. Some 4,000 people, including presidents and prime ministers of several countries, are expected to attend the funeral tomorrow.
Well, the First Lady of Kenya, Mrs. Margaret Kenyatta, said that the compassion and kindness being extended by the First Lady of Sri Lanka to the women and children of Sri Lanka is exemplary to other First Ladies of the world. Mrs. Kenyatta has made this observation when she met the First Lady yesterday. First Lady Madam Shiranthi Rajapaksa has dedicated her life towards the progress of the women and children of Sri Lanka by giving leadership for many educational, health and social services programs. Mrs. Kenyatta said that through these activities she has proved to the world that she is a dignified lady of South Asia. They also discussed about the programs such as Sirilia Savia, Carlton Health Program, Carlton Educational, Social and Welfare Programs. Both ladies discussed in detail the contemporary needs of fulfilling the aspirations of women and children. The First Lady, Madam Shiranthi Rajapaksa, also inspected an elephant conservation centre in an open forest area affiliated to the National Zoological Garden of Nairobi. More than 100 baby elephants are being conserved at this centre. The officials of the centre told the First Lady that these baby elephants will be released back to the wild when they are of proper age.
Christmas will dawn in another 11 days' time. We were able to see the people of Colombo and suburbs getting ready for this festival. It is the ambition of the people to celebrate a happy Christmas in a peaceful atmosphere. The beautification of the city of Colombo and the suburbs has also added to this Christmas atmosphere. The people commend the government for providing facilities to purchase essential goods during the season without any difficulty.
උත්සව සමයේ අපහසුවකින් තොරව අත්‍යවශ්‍ය භාණ්ඩ මිලදී ගැනීමට පහසුකම්
Well, attention of the whole country has been focused on the brave police officer Sunil, who sacrificed his life attempting to curb drug trade. The two children who became orphans due to the murder of the police officer Sunil and his wife are now being taken care of by Sunil's parents. They are living in a partially built house at present. Minister Vimal Veeravansa has focused his attention to their plight. The minister donated 500,000 rupees from the Jana Sevana Fund of the National Housing Development Authority to this family. The cheque in this connection was handed over at his ministry. The fund will become sufficient to complete the construction of the partially built house. Police officers and a group of people are providing labour assistance for the construction of this house. The construction work is to be completed before the 3-month almsgiving of Mr. and Mrs. Sunil.
A special conference on the conservation of maritime environment was held at the BMICH today. Minister Vijayamuni Soiza was the chief guest at this conference. Discussions were held under various topics on steps that can be taken for conservation of maritime-related environment. The keynote address was delivered by Navy Commander Vice Admiral Jayanath Kolumbage. At this conference, it was explained on conservation of maritime environment that could lead to the sustenance of other environment zones as well. The conference was organized by an international organization. Representatives from several sectors, including the Navy, attended the conference.
I have been invited by the organizing committee to inaugurate this conference. I do so with great pleasure.
Disasters, incidents that would represent Sri Lanka, the ship disaster.
The Sri Pada pilgrimage season will start from the Undurab full moon Poide falling on Monday. As a precursor to the season, the divine statue worship Perahara will leave from Ratnapura tomorrow. The Sri Pada pilgrimage will be held from Monday until the Vesak full moon Poide next year. The divine statue worship takes a prominent place among the rituals of the Sri Pada season. These divine statues will be kept in the Galpottavala Sri Pada Rajamahaviharaya. The relic casket, the golden deer statue of God Saman and the divine attires will be taken to the upper chamber of the Sri Pada on the Unduap full moon Poya day. The Perahara that will divide in Ratnapura will proceed to the upper chamber through Palabadalla and through Avisavilla via Ginigath Hena to Hatton. The Perahara has been organized under the guidance of the chief incumbent of the Sri Pada Sthanaya and the chancellor of the Uvavelasa University, Venerable Benagamue Dhammadina Nayakathera. The Nayakathera said that all facilities have been arranged for several thousands of devotees who will visit the Sri Pada during this season.
Several roads in the Colombo city will be kept closed today and tomorrow in connection with the Colombo Night Races 2013. The police traffic unit requests the drivers to use the alternative roads. Roads will be kept closed today and tomorrow from 3 p.m. from Gaur Face Roundabout, from Regal Roundabout, from Chaitya Road, from Khan Clock Tower towards Fort Area, from Bank of Ceylon, Janadipati Martha Junction towards Presidential Secretariat Roundabout, and from Alcott Martha, Sino Junction towards the Fort Area. China's lunar probe Chang'e 3 has been ready for a scheduled soft landing on the moon's surface today. After several trial operations, the probe will make its soft landing tonight. The Chang'e 3 mission is concentrating on the moon's Bay of Rainbows, where it is expected to release a rover called Jutu or Jade Rabbit. According to the Beijing Aerospace Control Center, the flying control system is ready. Satellites and spacecraft control departments are monitoring the operation of various equipments round the clock. Orbit designers are making the final assessment on landing orbit control and post-land task data for the last time to make sure everything goes well. The probe was successfully launched on the 2nd of December from China's Zhejiang Satellite Launch Center. It is the first time a Chinese spacecraft trying to make a soft landing on a non-Earth surface for the world. This would be the first mission of its kind since an unmanned Russian mission touched down in 1976.
Well, that's it for tonight's news. Do watch us tomorrow at the very same time. Good night.
Good night.